What is up, YouTube? I am Galdite74 here, bringing you our Week 11 battle of Matt Oshea's Ocean League. This week we take on division rival Merv, coach of the Drunk Delibirds. We are going into this game with a 7-3 record, while he is going into this game with a 5-5 record. Now, before I get into anything about this video, I highly recommend you check out next week's battle when that is posted, because next week's battle and this week's battle today you're going to be watching is easily my favorite and I think best two Ocean League videos I've made, making. So I highly recommend you go check those out. I'm going to put a lot of effort into it. You'll see why. It's for completely different reasons. And before we get into it, again, we have another video going up tomorrow, which is a draft analysis for the PEBA of Season 3 is returning. I'm going to get a lot more detail into that tomorrow, but make sure to go check that out. It's more draft league content. Anyway, with all that out of the way, we are here against Merv. Merv is 5-5, as I mentioned. If he wins this game, he has a really solid chance of making playoffs, but if he loses this game, then he's kind of in a tough spot. Regardless, though, I'm going to try and put effort into this game. I didn't put, build completely. I built sets for certain mons, not all of them, but certain ones that, I built 3 of the same mon, and then I brought, maybe the second best one, because I might bring the best one if I face him in the playoffs. And I did that with some, I didn't do that with others. Some mons I just kind of slapped on some moves. You'll see what I mean in a second. As we're going to go over his team first. We faced him in week 2, I believe, so his team has been set on the channel before, but I am going to go back over it. His team consists of the best Pokemon in the world in Mega Gallade, Protein Greninja, Latias, Skarmory, Darmanitan, Blissey, Swampert, Cofagrigus with Z-moves, Slurpuff, Rotom-Mow, and Vanillux. Now, obviously, he's got the greatest mon of all in Mega Gallade, so I already like his team right there. He's got Skarmory, which I draft way too much, and then he's got Vanillux. There's always a mon I've kind of wanted to try out and draft, but I haven't had the chance to draft it, so that's pretty cool. And, of course, Darmanitan. I love using Darmanitan. I think it's so fun. But that's enough about his team. My team I'm bringing this week consists of Mega Charizard Y, Florges, Zeraora, Alolan Persian, Slowbro, and Haunter. As I just mentioned, our first mon we are bringing is Mega Charizard Y with Dragon Dance, Flare Blitz, Dragon Claw, and Roost, max attack, 220 speed with a Jolly Nature. Basically, Mega Charizard X rips through his team, but since, I don't have that, I have Y, we're going to use the bootleg version of it because I thought it would do very good work. The problem I had with this set was I had 4 move slot syndrome because I really wanted to run Roost for the recovery, and Dragon Claw I threw on here in the end for Latias, but I almost went with Earthquake for the Darmanitan because even at +1, Flare Blitz or Dragon Claw does not kill the Darmanitan, which could be a bit of a problem. And another big problem is Blissey. Now, if I'm at +1, I can basically OHKO Blissey, but the problem is Blissey is so fat. I take, I think, 80% recoil if I knock it out from full, and that's just insane. Maybe even more than 80%. I'm not sure, but it's around that. And that just blew my mind. I really didn't want to run this set because of that, but I decided to go with it because I'm not going to be bringing it most likely, unless it does work against him in this game. But next up we have Florges with Moonblast, Defog, Synthesis, and Toxic, 248 HP, 168 defense, and 92 speed. It's kind of standard Florges. It's here to take some physical hits as well as some special hits. Not many mons on his team likes to take Moonblast. Even Skarmory doesn't want to take it. It takes 25% anyway, and that's some good damage on a Skarmory. And then Darmanitan can take it, but Anyway, we have, for our next mon, we have Zeraora. Zeraora is running Volt Switch, Plasma Fist, Drain Punch, and Grass Knot with a Life Orb, 252 attack with a Naughty Nature, 224 speed, and 32 special attack. Grass Knots for Swampert. I wanted to throw knockoff on the set, but I feel like the momentum in Volt Switch was just too good, so I decided to do that, and Drain Punch and Plasma Fist for the rest of his team. We have Alolan Persian next with Parting Shot, Taunt, Foul Play, and Knockoff, max HP, 216 speed with a Jolly Nature, and 44 in defense. Basically, anything on his team does not want to take a knockoff, or getting rid of someone's item is very useful for my team. If he wants to switch into Mega Gallade, I mean, if it's not Mega Evolved, he'll get a Justified boost, but even then, I have Foul Play, and I'll outspeed it, and I'll just basically wreck it if it gets a boost anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. And again, Parting Shot, it's a Alolan Persian. We have Slowbro here with Scald, Foul Play, T-Wave, and Slack Off, max HP, basically, and max defense almost. Rocky Helmet. I went back and forth between Leftovers and Rocky Helmet, but I decided the Helmet would be kind of useful. And Foul Play again for the Glade if it tries to set up on me, because, Foul Play is going to do a lot to it. And Scald Burn's always nice for his team. This can't really touch Blissey, though, so that's kind of troublesome. And then lastly, we have Haunter. Last time I brought a Choice Scarf set. This time I'm bringing a Ghost TMZ set with a sub paint split. If I can sub in front of that Blissey and paint split that health, that is just great. I can't actually really knock out the Blissey, but if I can keep it low, that's all that really matters in the end. And Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb just cover his team really well. I feel like the Ghost TMZ could also be used to nuke something on his team. And that is my team I am bringing this week. Again, it's kind of a fun team to an extent. Some of it's pretty standard, but other things I think I'm going to have fun with, like the Mega Charizard Y and even the Haunter. But that is it for my team. We're going to head over to Pokemon Showdown and watch this battle. So here we are in the battle, and I'm noticing he has the Skarmory, the Blissey, and the Latias, so this is going to be really, really annoying to get through. But I'm going to lead off with Zeraora because I'm hoping I can actually get a good lead with it for once, and I actually do, which is really great. So here I'm going to Volt Switch because I don't think that he's going to want to stay with the Greninja. I could have Drain Punched there, to be completely honest, and did a lot to this Blissey. But he knows I'm Life Orb, which is fine. I can send in my Haunter to see if he's holding anything to actually touch me, which I doubt, but we'll see, as I am going to go for the Substitute here. And he is just going to put up his Stealth Rock, so that kind of sucks, but, you know, we can deal with that later with Defog on Florges. Here I'm just going to Pain Split because I'm at a little bit less of health, and since Haunter's got like no HP, I can get some health back while taking down some on Skarmory, which is pretty awesome. Now here I'm just going to go for Shadow Ball and get some damage. I don't care if he wants to Whirlwind me out. That's just 49%. Like, that's insane amount of damage we got going on here. As he is going for Spike, so he is hazard stacking me a bit, so which can be a little scary for, like, you know, Galeta and all, but I'm not too worried about it, as I'm just going to fire off another Shadow Ball as Greninja comes in. It does 32%. Get another Spadef drop, so that kind of sucks for him. But here he's going to go for Dark Pulse, and this is going to break my sub, but I do have Sludge Bomb as my last move on the set, and I'm going to go for it, and this Greninja is dead. Turn 6, Greninja is gone. Now that is really big for my team because offensively, or defensively, I kind of have a problem with it, but with it gone, it's not that bad. But here I make a really, really bad play and sack off my Haunter. Now, in theory, it might not be bad because at the time I'm thinking, oh, well, Haunter did really good work already getting rid of Greninja, which it did. But now Blissey's going to be kind of a problem, as you'll see here. The Blissey comes out. Is I'm going to send in Florges. I do get all these hazards away, which is really nice, but now Blissey's in for free, and I do not have anything to touch this Blissey with on my Florges outside of Toxic. But I'm going to go out into Zeraora, as Blissey is actually going to go for its own Toxic, and Zeraora, for probably like the 16th time this year, is going to get Toxic poisoned. So that kind of sucks, but I can go for a Drain Punch here, as he does make a nice read and go into Latias. And I do about 20% to it. This shows me that Latias isn't that bulky. It's a pretty offensive Latias, but he does have the leftovers, so I was kind of wondering why at that. But I don't want to take any damage on my Zeraora, as I'm going to go into the Florges, as it can take hits the best from this thing. As you see, it doesn't really do much. It looks kind of defensive from the damage, but offensive from the damage I was doing to it, so I'm not quite sure what to expect yet. Here I'm going for Toxic, expecting Blissey to come back in. I know Blissey does have Natural Cure, but if I can use Toxic on Blissey every time it comes in, it'll prevent it from just sitting in front of my team and stalling me out. So he's going to get his rocks up. I'm going to go for Moonblast just to get some damage off to pressure him a little more from staying in. As I'm going to keep doing it. I know he's going to use Toxic on me at some point, so that's going to kind of suck, but I'm willing to take it, as he is going to go for Toxic this turn and land it, as now we are both on timers, and basically we're doing the same thing to each other, except, you know, on his Blissey. Here I'm going to go for Moonblast one more time, as I'm expecting him to click Soft Boiled, as he does have the Soft Boiled. It's either that or Wish, and if he had Wish, that would be really, really annoying. But here now, I'm going to make a prediction and have him think he's going to switch out, so I'm going to go into my Charizard, where I don't think he's going to go for Toxic. That would be kind of weird, as he goes into the Skarmory, and this is really, really nice, because now I can set up a Dragon Dance on this thing. He's not going to Whirlwind, as I can Mega Evolve, and I set up a Dragon Dance, and now I'm looking really good to sweep, as he just goes for a Stealth Rock. So he's got double rocks on his team this week, which is kind of interesting. But now here I can just fire off a Flare Blitz, and something basically just dies, as his Skarmory is going to be the sack of choice. And with Skarmory down, I'm looking really good. Florges is really looking good to defog now. I'm not really worried about it. As here comes Darm. Now this really sucks because I told you guys in the team builder I had Dragon Claw over Earthquake, and apparently he caught that or something, because I decided to stay in and Flare Blitz it and get as much damage as I can, as he Stone Edges and knocks out my Charizard. Now this is big. I'll explain in a second after the series offense goes. I go into Persian because I didn't want to send in Slowbro and give Blissey a free switch in, so I just go for the knockoff, as he turns out to be a Scarf Darm, so I can just knock it out with the knockoff. Now we're up to 4-3, but he still has a Blissey, and I can't really get through it now with Charizard gone and my Haunter gone. I'm just going to taunt it so it can't really do too much, but he is just going to go straight for the Seismic Toss, so good play on his part. The reason I just stayed in was because I was so terrified of Choice Band Darm in the sun with Flare Blitz. And I mean, I know he's got Stone Edge too, but like I didn't know that prior to that. And just Band Darmanitan does so much damage, and I was just terrified of it basically. So here I'm going to sack off my Persian to the Blissey, and you're probably wondering why, because Persian does really nice against the Latios, and it's decent against the Gallade. It's mainly because I wanted to get this Blissey down to a little bit low health, and without leftovers, I can knock down this Blissey a little bit lower quicker. As I'm going to go to Zeraora, and I do end up going for the Drain Punch again. I thought about this play for a while, but I decided to go for it. I didn't want to risk this Blissey, because that's really the biggest problem right now. As now here I make a big prediction and think he's going to go back into the Blissey, as I'm going to go for the Plasma Fist, and he stays in. So that was 43%. That was a lot of damage. But he is going to go for the Shadow Ball, and it's not going to knock me out, but the Toxic Damage will. That was really big, because if he would have switched out, I basically would have just won the game right there. But since he didn't, we're really in a tough spot, because Florges and Slowbro cannot touch this Blissey, as he just goes through the Healing Wish. I'm just like, oh no. Here comes the Blissey, and I just have to hopefully somehow Toxic this thing down, get Gallade, knock that out, and then Toxic this Blissey down again. I don't know how possible that's going to be, but we're going to go for it, as I'm going to fire off a Toxic right away, as he's going to go straight for the Seismic Toss, not messing around, getting some damage on the Florges. Here I did my math. I'm going to Synthesis once, because I'll gain a little bit of health if he goes for the Seismic Toss, which he does go for. And I'm going to switch out into my Slowbro the next turn, because I have the Helmet, and it'll do some nice chip damage. And I can't just keep Synthesis. I can't keep healing up. I'll start losing health anyway. So here he's gonna use Seismic Toss. Can't talk. Take some Rocky Helmet damage. Take some more Toxic damage. It is starting to rack up. And now I can at least pressure this Blissey with Scald. Now you're gonna see this Scald does a whole whopping 11%. But the thing is, I don't think he's gonna want to risk switching in Mega Gallade on a Scald. So he's gonna Toxic me. I'm gonna keep Scalding. I don't want to use Slack Off solely because if he switches in Gallade on my Slack Off, it might be a problem if he's like a setup Gallade and he can just Toxic Stall me to death. So I am going to go for Scald, and he actually does give me the Blissey, which is actually a really big deal. Because yes, my Slowbro is down to like 20% and my Florges is at like 40. So both of my Mons are low, but the thing is, Psychic coverage isn't really great against my team, so there's a chance he doesn't even have Zen Headbutt or Psycho Cut, and if he does have Zen Headbutt, I can play off a Miss. But he might have Poison Jab. So basically, if he's got any of those moves, my Florges dies. But there might be hope if he doesn't go for any of those moves, as he actually goes for the knockoff. And that blew me by surprise as I clicked Moonblast. And Mega Gallade is going to live, because Mega Gallade is such a god at 3%. And I'm at 3% now, and he's going to be faster and knock out my Florges with a close combat. And that is the game. What a game this was. Merv, this was a really close battle. It came down to like the last turn, basically. But we are going to move on to a 7-4 record, as I think Jet Swarley is taking over the division lead now. GG to Merv. Again, that was such an amazing battle. Merv is probably going to be making playoffs now, so I hope we get to face him, because, you know, that was really fun. Hopefully we get to do that again. Make sure you guys check out next week's video. It's really important. It is against Jet Swarley. It's going to be an intense battle. You will see why in next week's video. And then last week, again, for a reminder for tomorrow, we have our PEBA draft analysis going up. So, again, make sure to look forward to that. I'm going to wrap this up now. It's really beautiful outside. First, like, day of spring, basically. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft League content, consider subscribing to the channel as I'm posting more. That is all I got for you guys. I'm going to head out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.